The champagne glass was still on my kitchen table, wrapped in its protective film. 6 months of planning, countless meetings with suppliers, and a non-refundable deposit of $90,000. All of it had hinged on the outcome of a phone call I'd received 3 hours earlier. "Brooke, we need to talk about your wedding date." My mother's voice had that distinctive tone she uses when she's made up her mind and is simply informing me of it. A tone that means it's not a discussion, it's a definitive directive. I was going through seating charts with my fiancé Nathan when she called. We had just finished arranging the tables after weeks of careful planning, making sure that elderly relatives were not too far from the restrooms and strategically separating feuding cousins. "What about that? Your sister needs that weekend getaway. She's getting married again, and the place she wants only has that date available. It's the Grandview Mansion. You know, that very exclusive mansion." I put down my pen slowly and felt a shiver run through my stomach. "Mom, this is our appointment. We booked it 6 months ago. We signed the contracts." "I understand, dear, but this is important. Emma has been through so much because of her divorce. 2 failed marriages take a heavy toll on a person. This might be the right marriage for her. Jason seems different from the others. This is her 3rd wedding, Mom, in 5 years. That's precisely why we need to make her special. She deserves happiness after everything she's been through. You know how sensitive she is about her past relationships." Nathan watched my face intently, already aware of where this conversation was headed. We had been together for 8 years, engaged for 2. Emma had married and divorced twice during that same period. I said in a quiet voice, "We've already sent out date cards to 200 people. They've booked their dates, booked their flights, and arranged childcare. Some of our friends are coming from abroad. They'll understand if you explain. These things happen all the time. Family comes first, Brooke, you've always known that. Besides, Emma is determined to book the Grandview estate, and they only have your date available for next year. You know how difficult it is to book that venue. Mom, we've booked the beachfront spot in Malibu. We've paid deposits to the caterer, the photographer, the florist, and the band. Everything is set up. The contracts include cancellation penalties. We're talking thousands of dollars in non-refundable deposits. You can reschedule all of that. The beach will always be there. But Emma needs this, and I need you to be the more mature person here." I glanced at Nathan, who shook his head slightly. We'd been through this before. Emma's needs always came first. Her first wedding clashed with my university graduation. I skipped it to be her bridesmaid. Her second wedding was scheduled for the same weekend I had my job interview, a job I'd worked years to qualify for. I refused the interview. I asked, "What does my father say about this?" He agrees with me. Emma's happiness is what matters most. You and Nathan have been together for a long time. You can wait a few more months. Emma needs to secure this while there is still time. "The opportunity," she repeated, "before the place gets full of bookings. Before Jason changes his mind. You know how things work. Jason is Emma's current fiancé. They have been together for 4 months. Mom, I'm not changing our wedding date." Silence continued on the other end for several seconds. Then her voice turned cold. "I see. So you'll be selfish about this." "I'm not selfish. I will stick to the wedding date we planned and paid for. Your father and I contributed to the wedding budget, miss. We have a say in this matter. I donated $5,000. We spent $90,000 in total. The $5,000 was a gift, and gifts are refundable. If you're not being reasonable about this, don't expect us to come. And don't expect any family member to choose your wedding over Emma's. You're forcing everyone to take sides." Nathan reached out and squeezed my hand. I said calmly, "I'm not forcing anyone to do anything. We will keep our appointment. Then you will be alone. Don't come crying to us when the place is empty because everyone chose to support your sister instead." I hung up. Nathan hugged me and said, "Are you okay?" "No," she admitted. "But I won't let them do this anymore." Over the next week, the calls started pouring in. Aunts, uncles, cousins, all saying the same thing. Couldn't I be more flexible? Didn't I realize how important this was to Emma? Why was I being so stubborn? My father called me on the 3rd day. "Your mother is very upset." "Me too, Dad. Emma is in a fragile state right now. This wedding might really help her recover." "And what about my wedding? You are stronger than Emma. You can handle disappointment better." That sentence settled in my chest like a stone. Years of being the reliable, resilient, and able-bodied person I was. "I will keep the appointment, Dad. So I hope you and Nathan are very happy together because you are making a choice that will cost you your family." The line was also closed. That night, Nathan and I sat on our apartment balcony watching the sunset. He asked me, "What do you want to do?" I said, "I want to get married. I want the wedding we planned. I want the beach, the sunset, and the people who really care about us. So that's what we'll do." My entire family withdrew from the party. "Your family, maybe, but not ours." He took out his phone and started scrolling through the guest list. "Look at this list. Your dorm roommate who flew all the way from Tokyo to attend your engagement party and bought her plane ticket to attend the wedding. My cousin who helped me choose your ring and took time off work months ago. Your mentor at work who'd been asking about the wedding for months and requested a special gift. The friends who were with you on every important occasion. The person who threw your surprise birthday party and helped us move into this apartment. These people are family too. Real family. I looked at the list. I studied it closely. He was right. Out of 200 guests, perhaps 30 were relatives, mostly distant cousins I see only once every few years. The rest were people who had chosen to be a part of our lives, who celebrated with us in times of joy and supported us in times of hardship, and who were there when we needed them without any parental obligation. I said slowly, "You know what? I have an idea." Nathan raised an eyebrow. "I know that look. What are you planning? What if we just did that? We kept it a secret from my family, had the wedding exactly as planned, and let them find out later. They will lose their minds. They're not really coming. They've already chosen Emma's wedding. So what's the difference? Think about it. Do you want to go into full stealth mode? Complete silence. We tell the guests the truth. We have our perfect day. And we don't say a single word to my parents or Emma until it's all over. They will find out eventually. Not now. By the time they do that, we'll be married. And they won't be able to do anything about it." The smile that appeared on Nathan's face told me that he agreed. We spent the next week making calls. We personally contacted every guest on our list except my relatives. We explained the situation to them, asked them to keep it quiet, and most of them immediately agreed. Some were angry on our behalf, while others were not surprised. My former roommate, Amanda, said, "Your mother did this at your graduation. I remember. You've been letting them do this your whole life." I told her, "Not this time. The invitations have arrived. Of the 170 non-family guests, 168 have confirmed their attendance. We will be holding our wedding." My mother called 2 more times, each time asking if I'd come to my senses. Each time I told her I was still thinking about it. Let her think she's driving me crazy. Let her think I'll give in like I always have. Emma called once. "I heard you're making things difficult about the date. I will keep my wedding date, Emma. Are you really going to force me to look for another place? Do you know how difficult it is to plan a wedding? I've done it twice before. I think you'll succeed." She gasped as if I had slapped her. "That's cruel. The cruel thing is that you're asking me to cancel my wedding for yours. Family members are supposed to support each other." I said, "You're right, they are." She hung up before she could reply. 2 weeks before our wedding, my mother left a voicemail saying, "I hope you are happy. Emma has found a place to hold the wedding 2 weeks after your wedding, but it is not the place she wanted. She is accepting this situation because of your selfishness. I hope you accept it." The message was deleted. On the Thursday before our Saturday wedding, Nathan and I took the day off work. We loaded our pre-packed bags into the car and drove to the airport. We had moved the wedding forward by 12 hours, so it would start Friday evening instead of Saturday afternoon. An extra precaution. On Friday afternoon, we stood on a beach in Malibu, surrounded by 168 people who had chosen to be there. Amanda was my bridesmaid, and Nathan's brother was my best man. The sunset was magical, the flowers were exactly as I had hoped, and the photographer captured every moment. We exchanged vows as the waves crashed behind us. I promised to choose him every day. He promised to build a life where I would never be second best. When the officiant pronounced us married, the cheers could be heard a mile away. At the reception, my mentor at work gave a speech in which he said, "I have watched Brooke gracefully navigate difficult situations for years. Today, she chose herself. This requires more courage than we imagine." The party went on late into the night. We danced, laughed, and celebrated with people who genuinely loved us. No one mentioned my absent family. It was as if they didn't exist. The next morning, we posted the photos. All of them, the wedding ceremony, the reception, the sunset, the cake cutting, and the first dance. Amanda made a beautiful video with music. We uploaded everything to social media with a simple caption. "The most beautiful day of our lives." We got married. Then Nathan and I boarded a plane to Bali. Somewhere over the Pacific Ocean, my phone started ringing incessantly. I turned off notifications, but I could see the number of messages piling up. Texts, missed calls, and voicemails were piling up. I showed it to Nathan. "Will you look?" "Not before we land." We arrived in Bali after many long hours. I turned my phone on again while we waited for our luggage. There were so many notifications. The messages were varied. Friends congratulating us, distant relatives who saw the posts asking why they hadn't been invited, and then my immediate family. "Mother, how dare you do this? You lied to us. You held a wedding without your mother. Everyone is asking me why I wasn't there. I feel humiliated. Emma, you're unbelievable. You had your wedding anyway and didn't even tell us. People are commenting on your pictures and asking about me. This is my weekend. Father, I am extremely upset by your behavior. Call me immediately. Aunt Karen, your mother is devastated. How could you be so selfish?" Then, in the middle of the letter, my cousin Andrew said, "Well done. Your wedding was beautiful. Congratulations." I showed Nathan the letters. He flipped through them, and his jaw tightened. He finally said, "They are angry because they could not control you." "They're angry because they look bad," I corrected them. "My mom is offended because people are asking questions. Emma is upset because my wedding is getting attention during her weekend, even though mine was first. What do you want to do?" I looked at my phone, at the feelings of guilt, accusations, and demands. Then I looked at my new husband, at the ring on my finger, at the beautiful island stretching out before us. I said, "Nothing. I want to do absolutely nothing. I want to enjoy my honeymoon with my husband, and they can decide for themselves how they feel." I turned on airplane mode on my phone and put it in my bag. We spent 2 weeks in Bali. We went diving, visited temples, had dinner on the beach, and got couples massages. We talked about our future, the family we would build together, and the boundaries we would need to maintain. "You know, they're not going to give up on this," Nathan said one evening as we watched the sunset from our villa. "I know that, but I've had enough of letting their inability to be happy for me dictate my choices. Even if they cut off everything from you?" Even then, I spent years trying to win their approval by being the person they needed me to be. It's over. When we got home, we found more messages. My mom called several times. Emma sent a long text complaining that I had ruined her wedding weekend by stealing the spotlight. My dad sent just one sentence. "When you're ready to apologize, we'll talk." I read all their messages, then blocked their numbers. Months have passed now. We've settled into married life. Our apartment is covered with wedding photos on every wall. Friends still compliment us on how beautiful that day was. Some family members have contacted me privately to apologize for not supporting us earlier. My parents and Emma haven't contacted me since I blocked them, although I heard from my cousin that Emma's wedding was perfect. She had a wonderful day at the Grand View Palace. And I got what I wanted too. On a beach in Malibu, surrounded by people who chose love over commitment, with a man who promised me he would never put me second again. I don't regret any decision I made. Not the secret planning, not the social media announcement, not the blocking. Because for the first time in my life, I chose myself. And that choice gave me the most beautiful day I could have imagined. The champagne glasses are now ready, stored in our kitchen cupboard. We use them for special occasions like the night we returned from Bali, where we celebrated our future, our freedom, and the family we are building together. We have chosen ourselves, and we do so every day.
सर्द लगता है दिल का हर एक कोना अब बहुत ही दूर भरता है अंधेरी दीवारों में खुद को ढूंढता हूँ मैं ये जो दिन सुहाने थे उन्हीं को सोचता हूँ मैं तुम्हारे बिन ये मौसम सर्द लगता है दिल का हर एक कोना बहुत ही दर्द भरता है मेरे साए भी मुझसे अब जुदा होने को कहते हैं तुझे खोने की राहों में ये आंसू बहने लगते कहाँ ढूंढूं मेरा वो साजो सामा तो मेरी हर एक तमन्ना तू मेरी रूह का मका तू लकीरों में नहीं लिखा जो तुमने ख्वाब देखा था कहानी में फकत एक गम ही लिखा था सितारों से भी पूछता है पता तेरा कहाँ होगा मगर खामोश है दुनिया कहाँ मेरा जहाँ होगा बस एक बार बस रह गया दर्द का असर, दर्द का असर।